Hi everyone! So I'm so excited for our video today because I actually bought a bag from Marc Jacobs yesterday. Look at that! So this is totally an impulse buy. I wasn't planning of purchasing this particular bag, but let me also say that I have been in the market for a tote bag. I was just looking for a handbag that would actually call out to me, that I could use every day, and that would actually fit with my lifestyle and also with my line of work, because I am somebody who actually loves tote bags. I have used them for years. So for example, this is my current daily tote bag, and I believe this is from Uniqlo or Muji, I can't remember. But my problem with this is that it's just too big, and the material of it is actually so soft. But I like that it's in a cloth or canvas type of a material, because it's very easy to carry. So that's also one thing that I was looking for in a bag. I wanted a bag that was light, I wanted a bag that was sturdy, and I wanted a bag that was boxy, very similar to the Dior book tote bag, which by the way was the bag that I came this close to purchasing. But the main reason why I didn't get that, even though I love the structure of it, I love the design of it, but it was just too pricey. And with my line of work, if I bring that work, I cannot put that bag down on the floor, or I just wouldn't even bring it to work, because I would find that the bag is just too delicate for a atmosphere like that, if you know what I mean. So in me saying that, yes, so the bag that I had been looking for is a tote bag, a bag that is structured, and a bag that is light and that's actually made of canvas. So trust me, for the past few months I have been searching the internet high and low for a bag like that. And let me also say that I was actually not checking out bags from the luxury brands or from the contemporary luxury brands, because I just find that the price points for this are actually very expensive. And with me, I try to be smart with my money. But if there's also one thing that you guys need to know about me, is that if I fall in love with something, no matter the price, I will actually purchase it. Okay, so in me saying that, I'm going to present to you guys the Marc Jacobs cargo tote bag. Oops, there it is. Okay, let me just remove it from its dust bag. Look at that, isn't that so cute? So this is in the size medium, and it comes in a camel color. And what made me fall in love with this bag is actually the pockets here in front, because it just adds more room for me to store my stuff. So I could actually store either my AirPods here, or my car keys or my home keys. And then here in front, I can actually store either my pencil cases, because I do bring a pencil case wherever I go, or even just the things that are important, that say chargers, or charging cables, or power banks, things like that. So it just really fits with what I had envisioned of having a tote bag. Okay, so let me just zip this first. Okay, there you go. And then what's so amazing with this is that we actually have leather here for the handles, and also on this side here. Although I don't really understand why there was a leather material here. Maybe it's just to help keep the bag in shape whenever it gets overstretched. Look at that. Look, I love on how boxy it looks. I like on how sturdy it looks. I just love on how erect it looks. Super. And inside the bag here, so we have a shoulder strap, which is so important, because for all the years that I have been using tote bags, there have been a number of times that I would have wished that the tote bag that I was using came with the straps. So this is great. Now the strap here just looks very simple. Even the device that I would clamp into the hook here is very simple, and it kind of fits with the look, because it's a cargo tote bag basically. Look at that. So let me hook that here. Okay, there you go. And then the edge of the strap here is leather, and then the buckle here is, I think, made of some alloy material. And then the strap is actually made of canvas, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Like, you know, it's very casual, but also very chic at the same time. And then anyway, so I was like, you know, pointing out earlier, if we look inside here, there's actually like, you know, an inside pocket here where you have two pockets, and then you have a zip pocket inside here. Look at that. And then look at how spacious it looks inside the bag. I super love it. And also the most important thing, you actually have a zipper closure here. Like, you know, just to keep your things safe, especially when you're traveling, because I can also envision myself traveling with this bag. Now, by the way, the bag here has a, like, you know, paper, like, you know, carton inside, which you can remove. I'm actually gonna go to the either craft store or the bookstore later, because I'm going to buy myself a cardboard, and I'm gonna follow this paper here, and I'm going to, like, you know, attach it inside here. Like, you know, it's gonna act like as a lining, because I really love it when my bag is, like, you know, very sturdy and it's very erect and it can stand on its own. I love that. Look at that. Isn't it so beautiful? I can't get over it. Super. I think you guys can see on how excited I am. And the zipper closure here, if you take a look, it's also lined with leather. Look at that. So I guess that's why this bag is a little bit pricey for a canvas bag, because you have, like, you know, elements of leather here. Now, also let me preface by saying, like, you know, I am not somebody who, like, you know, looks into luxury fashion or luxury handbags, things like that. So I am really not, like, you know, well versed in, like, you know, the language of handbags, but I think you guys can see on how truly in love I am with this bag, okay? And what I have noticed with this bag is that, like, you know, the trimmings here feel very, very, like, you know, thick. It seems like there might be a, like, a lining of sort inside here, and maybe that's why, like, you know, we have a very nice like, you know, erect bag here. And I can also say that this portion of the bag here, it's also lined with a very, like, you know, strong material, and I think this is just what gives this bag its shape. And here, by the way, at the back, you have the Marc Jacobs logo here in the leather, and then this is embossed, and I think the labels here are imprinted on it. All right, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And let me check out the Marc Jacobs website so that I can just, like, you know, give you the, like, you know, specific details, because I can't seem to remember for the life of me the technical specs for this bag. So according to the Marc Jacobs website, this is called the Cargo Canvas Medium Tote Bag. Okay, now the dimensions of this is that it's 13 inches in length, 10 inches in height, and then you actually have, like, you know, either a depth of 6 inches. And then the strap here is 57 inches, and then the width of the strap is 2 inches, and then the drop of this is 27 inches, and then the drop of the handle here is 5 inches. Look at that. And then the strap here is adjustable, of course, which is great, and you can just, you know, put it over your shoulder, and look at that. Look how casual that is, and I just love the way that the bag presses on itself. So it just, like, you know, even secures the, like, you know, top portion of the bag. Very nice. I love that. And truthfully, the color of this bag really fits well with most of the colors that I actually, like, you know, use on a daily basis. So this bag retails here in the Philippines for 25,000 pesos, which is, like, you know, really up there. And as I've said earlier, it's very rare for me to buy products from luxury brands, but when I love it, I love it. And I'm thankful that, like, you know, my credit card actually can allow me to put this on installment for 3 months. So that's it. And although I initially first saw this on farfetch.com, like, you know, I just it just flashed through my algorithm on my Facebook page. So that just like, really comes to tell you guys what I've been searching for. And then I was actually like, checking to see if they would deliver here to the Philippines, and true enough they would have had, but because the price of this retails at around for $295, for sure if I have it shipped here to the Philippines, I'm gonna pay like good amount of customs tax for that. So basing off either buying it online or buying it in store here, it's actually like the same. So yeah, so I already took a dive and I'm so happy with my purchase here, and I actually can't wait to use it. So by the way, I have actually enjoyed using like tote bags from Marc Jacobs over the years, and I actually have one here that I have been using incessantly since 2012 when I first went to New York to study makeup. So this is my old Marc Jacobs tote bag, and as you guys can see here, like the label has practically disappeared and actually has peeled off because like from constant using and washing. But this is the overall state of this Marc Jacobs tote bag. Like it's still like quite good. Like as you guys can see, the handle here has faded from use, and then like the edges here have frayed, and like we have a hole here in the canvas bag. But this just just gave it like so much personality, and trust me, this bag has like been used extremely well by me. Super. This has traveled with me, this has went to work with me, and that's why like basing off of my experience with this bag, it was actually quite light-hearted for me to actually purchase this, because I'm thinking that this was going to be of good quality. And of course I did inspect the bag like when I got this, and so far it's in good condition. So I'm very, very happy with this. Super. And by the way, as I've said earlier, sorry, I'm just like jumping from one topic to another. Remember I said that I love putting cardboards in my bags? So case in point, I actually have a cardboard here inside just to keep the shape of the bag, and like it just makes it easier for me to store my things inside properly. Okay. Oh, and one thing by the way, they actually gave me a nice gift with purchase, and it's actually like something quite small, and it's in this small paper bag. So let me just get it from its packaging. So it's actually a bag charm, and it's actually a small like the tote bag, and for sure I could like hang this here, but I don't understand why they didn't give me a strap for this. So I don't know how I'm gonna attach it here, but if you know me and you've been following me here on like YouTube for quite some time, you know that I'm a fan of handmade Japanese makeup brushes, and I do have a lot of like those small keychain brushes, and for sure that will actually fit here. All right. Now, by the way, I forgot to show you guys earlier that these two pockets here uses Velcro only to secure the cover on it. So I think that was just like the only down point that I had with this bag. I wish like it was a much more like sturdier closure, because at least it just keeps everything safe inside. But like I could just be careful with what I store here. Yeah, but anyway, that's it. Despite that, I still love this bag, and I hope that I grow into this bag and I just like really use it to its full potential. Yeah. All right, so I believe that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed hanging around with me today, and like sharing in this like small joyful moment that I have. So basically this bag is like my Christmas gift to myself and my birthday gift to myself. All right, so that's it for me today. So if you guys have any more questions about my experience using this bag, please let me know down in the comments box, and let's have a conversation about it. All right. Okay, so that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye.